Hello, everybody. Out in the middle of the construction, standing on the Verona Road, world famous, with two of the guys from the state of Wisconsin, Wisconsin DOT, your project manager. I'm just going to say you're both project managers, even though I know you both have great titles. I've got Steve and Chris with me today. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time. You're going to give us the full access tour, show us what happened this construction season, and kind of get us ready for what we're looking forward to in 2019. What a crazy year, though, for construction in here. And when I say crazy, I mean we saw a lot of earth movement here this year, Chris. Kind of give us the synopsis real quick of just what happened here this year.
Sure. So the focus this year was working a lot on the west side of the corridor, which is a lot of the southbound ramps, both to Williamsburg and County PD. You can kind of see behind me the dozers work, and we're putting the fill in for the future bridges, and that's all prep work for next year. That we're moving all this dirt to get ready for next year. We gotta, with the way the traffic staging is going, is we got to build all the southbound ramps to be able to put all that southbound traffic on those ramps. So everything that the focus this year was on those southbound ramps.
Steve, as the stuff comes, it's always amazing to me that we can have these areas that need to connect to each other. It's just so impressive how this laid out, how this all came together. Remind folks, how many years did it take to put this project together before we even broke that first ground?
There's certainly a lot of great coordination. Chris, certainly on the construction side, our design folks, Mark and others did a lot of great work. We started this project and the design of it in 2012. If you remember, in 2013, we worked on the Seminole Highway Bridge over the Beltline, worked on some other preparatory work on nearby intersections, and then in 2014, 2016, working on stage one, so Verona Road between Raymond Road and Tacoma Road, and then the Beltline between Whitney and Seminole Highway. And so all of that great work and the culmination, then bringing it down here south into Fitchburg, has really been a great success and a lot of great coordination, not only on the state level, but then working with our local partners, certainly the different contractors and subcontractors that we've had. So a lot of great teamwork, a lot of involvement in many years. And unfortunately, still a few more years to go here. We have a completion of fall of 2020, but I think people are starting to see the permanent concrete pavement go down. They're starting to see that light at the end of the tunnel and success toward the completion.
And that's what we're going to talk about here now, is that we're going to look at the different phases that have come together, because you are starting to kind of get a feel for what this is actually looking like. So Chris, set us up here in this area where we're standing.
Sure.
And what's happening behind us.
Sure. So the location that we're standing at right now is right in the middle of the southbound traffic lanes, right where the southbound on-ramp kind of meets up with Verona Road. So we're a couple hundred yards south of Highway PD. We're looking north at Highway PD in the background, and we're building up the fills on the background. Some of the other areas that we have is we are building up is, if you're going to use some imagination, there's going to be two bridges and a lot more dirt work and retaining walls behind us that is going to carry Verona Road up and over the top of Highway PD.
Yeah, and that's it's amazing the amount of fill that's been moved around here. I remember from past that we've been moving things down one way to another way.
Sure.
So we've kind of reused a lot of the resources that you had on site, which makes
that is
a great difference.
Yeah, so one of the and that's credit to the designers. One of the things that we did in design is we tried to keep all the earthwork material on site. So the material that we're using to fill at Highway PD is being cut from up by Williamsburg Way. That creates a lot of efficiencies for the contractor as well as cost savings for the state to build the project.
Steve, when we get ready to shift traffic over here, what's that timeline looking like when we're going to see this being used and the bridges get started?
Right, so we hope to have that transition here yet this fall, before November. But certainly it's a lot of coordination, a lot of efforts involved, not only here down by PD, but making sure that everything is complete up by Williamsburg Way. So as people know from the traffic switch that we did in May, it took over the course of a weekend, making sure that we slowly transition people over from one side to the other. So a similar kind of effect will occur for that switch, and then once all the traffic is on those southbound ramps, we'll be able to work on truly the core of Verona Road in 2019.
When we do make that traffic switch here in late November, is the hope that all the southbound traffic is going to go on those southbound ramps. So what it's going to create is going to feel like a huge wide median, and that is our work zone where we're going to be working all of next year. So it's going to make the intersections at PD and Williamsburg Way and a lot different than they are today, because the way how far apart the southbound and the northbound traffic will be split. About the beginning of August, we completed the building of the salt shed, and we're planning on using it this fall. They're planning on starting to fill it with salt yet later this fall, and it'll be used on our highway networks to be able to maintain our highways through the wintertime.
All right, we're on the other side of McKee Road now. Chris, as we were looking at this, it's kind of cool how this comes together on this side, but if you could tell the folks what we're looking at behind us here.
Sure. So right now we're standing on the southbound ramps of what will be the future Verona Road. What you see behind me is the actually where the slip ramp is going to start to develop. The gravel starts getting wider, and that's going to be where Williamsburg Way traffic can go up and over the top of PD on the Verona Road and merge in with Verona Road traffic. So we do kind of have a collector distributor ramp here where all the Williamsburg Way and McKee Road traffic all enter the same ramp system, and then right behind me is where they all split, that they got to make the decision to go to Highway PD or to go on to Verona Road and continue south.
And as you said when we were looking this direction, again, this traffic will stay on these ramps and continue straight through here as these bridges go up next year.
Correct. So the hope is by late this November we're going to be switching traffic and putting all the southbound traffic on these new ramps, and then that'll create a huge median work zone for us to build the new bridges at PD and at Williamsburg Way.
Something that came up at the beginning of this project was the walls on the other side of this. So where we're standing here with the off-ramp, on-ramp here,
sure,
as it is, it's quite a bit of a drop off-side
sure.
here.
Yeah, we're 15 feet higher than we want with the original ground surface, so we had to build quite a few MSC retaining walls. So if we would pan over and look over across the outside of the walls over here, there's a 15-foot drop up and over the top of those walls down to where the businesses are located there on the side.
And those retaining walls are both decorative, but also holding in everything that's part of.
Correct. Yep. They're engineered to hold up the highway, but also we've added a lot of aesthetic features to actually make them look a little appealing.